Chemical weapons on the streets of Britain. Soldiers and police take no chances as they search for clues about the poisoning of former Russian double agent Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia. Britain holds Moscow responsible, and bilateral ties have deteriorated amid mass diplomatic expulsions by both sides. British Prime Minister Theresa May has hinted at a crackdown on suspected dirty money from Russia that's poured into Britain for decades.
We will continue to bring all the capabilities of UK law enforcement to bear against serious criminals and corrupt elites. There is no place for these people or their money in our country. Mr. Speaker,
in the ensuing debate, some MPs called for the government to use recently enacted powers which could target British properties owned by rich Russians close to the Kremlin. So-called unexplained wealth orders require individuals suspected of corrupt or criminal activity to prove how they financed the purchase of assets or have them confiscated.
A lot of what we're doing is looking for people who are close to the Kremlin, close to Putin, whose interests we can affect in a way that might make them say, Vladimir Vladimirovich, we've really gone far enough for now. Could we please, take the temperature out of this and stop assassinating people in the UK?
A property in this well-tended garden on the banks of the Thames was mentioned in the parliamentary debate. An apartment here, which overlooks the Ministry of Defence, reportedly belongs to the Russian First Deputy Prime Minister, Igor Shuvalov. It's valued at $16 million. The anti-corruption campaign group Transparency International has called on the British authorities to consider using an unexplained wealth order on Shuvalov.
This property is roughly 76 times his known annual income.
But it's not just his case, is it?
No, we found £940 million worth of property in the UK that is owned by Russian individuals where we believe they've used corrupt or criminal wealth to obtain that property. And we would like to see the UK government act.
One of the owners of Arsenal Football Club was also mentioned by a British MP for a potential use of an unexplained wealth order. Uzbek-born tycoon Alisher Usmanov holds a 30% stake in Arsenal, as well as 2 luxury homes in southeast England. The club referred us to Usmanov's company, USM Holdings, but it did not respond to our request for a comment. Likewise, the Russian embassy in London did not respond to our request for an interview. But a spokeswoman for the Foreign Ministry in Moscow gave a blunt assessment of the situation in Britain.
Мы видим угрозы, мы видим устрашение. Мало того, все это идет в адрес нашего государства, целого государства, в адрес нашего народа, потому что речь идет о запугивании просто по целому ряду направлений для того, чтобы, видимо, как мы представляем и понимаем, и, по-моему, это очевидно, просто запугать людей.
Russian money began flowing into Britain in the 1990s, and it's been suggested that the government would be reluctant to act against it for fear of damaging the economy. But some businesses, which help Russian investors navigate the London property market, are worried.
The expectation is, yes, it's going to be much more difficult for someone with holding a Russian passport to do any business in the UK. All of our clients have no issues to show where their wealth came from. But when politics comes into play, it changes the equation because no matter what you show, it's never going to be enough.
23 expelled Russian diplomats and their families headed home from their country's embassy on March the 20th. This was Britain's most tangible response to the Skripal poisoning so far. Question now, what's coming next?